Oh man, just when you think the Sixers season's going to turn around, I've been being positive on this channel, and then they revert back into what they were in the beginning of the year, or what they've been 85% of the season, one of the worst teams in basketball. I mean, what is there to say? What is there to say? Like, the sad thing is, they came into the game, it was like 9-2 in the first couple minutes, and you were like, oh my goodness. It seems like they're in a rhythm. They might control this first quarter and get a lead. And then all of a sudden, the offense gets so stagnant. They start turning the ball over every other possession. And once the offense died, the defense just went with it. And just when you think, oh, they're a good defensive team, I look stupid for my last video because, they face a bunch of players who are quick off the dribble. They couldn't keep anyone in front. They had to go on this baby zone pretty much the whole entire night. And if you guys don't know, when the Sixers go zone, it's basically giving up a free three-pointer. So the defense, I thought it was one of their worst defensive performances of the season. I thought this was one of Tyrese Maxey's worst games of the season. And that's saying something because he hasn't been very good. And defensively, I've been tooting his horn, and he was terrible defensively tonight. So let's go down the list. Tyrese Maxey, 36 minutes played, -21. Paul George, 35 minutes played, -29. Joel Embiid, 17 minutes played, -11. They were the offense in the first quarter. I don't understand what the game plan was. The turnovers hurt. Don't get me wrong. Tyrese Maxey had 5 turnovers in the first half. He finished the game at 6. The Sixers had 15 turnovers overall. They had like 12 first half turnovers, and the Pacers in the first half had 13 fast break points. They only finished the game with like 18 fast break points. So that's why the Sixers got back in the game. They cut down the turnovers, made it a half-court game. The Pacers were kind of, trolling a bit. I thought the Pacers had a terrible offensive second half. And they were just kind of letting the Sixers back into the game just off of pure stupidity. Benedict Mathurin, some possessions, I was like, what is he doing? He smoked layups. Even Tyrese Halliburton, who was very good tonight, he had some moments in the second half. It's like, what kind of shot selection was that? Anyway, I digress. The turnovers killed the Sixers because when this team turns the ball over, they don't get back on defense because their best player, Joel Embiid, he cannot physically keep up with a team that is as quick. And Obi Toppin, who has been bad for the Pacers all year long, but because he's an athletic freak, he's quick, he destroyed the Sixers. 20 points, probably his best game of the season. He's been in trade rumors. This team is just too slow. It's a bad matchup versus the Pacers. And I feel like the Sixers played right into that because in the first quarter, first half, they were playing Embiid ball. Way too much Embiid ball. And not only that, but he's bringing the ball up the court like he's 100%. He's bringing the ball up the court, steal. Give it to your point guard. Not only that, everything is so difficult for this man. He's 7 foot, and you can't rely on him to consistently bully defenders down low. He doesn't have a hook shot, so layups to him are just not consistent. Like, I have no trust in him with his touch around the rim making a layup. He always misses the layups that he should easily make. And it seems like when he goes for a layup, he doesn't have any confidence in making it. He's looking for a foul. Like, there was this one time he threw up like a double pump layup on Pascal Siakam. He fell on the floor. He made the shot, but it turned into a bad play because he was still on the ground and the Pacers have a free three-pointer. Not only do the Sixers not get back on defense, but they also cannot score in transition. I swear, they're one of the worst transition teams I've ever seen. Because not only that, in the first quarter, early on in the first quarter, they were getting stops. But this team just eliminates one of the foundations of basketball, pushing the pace, getting easy shot quality in transition. Whenever they get a rebound with Joel Embiid on the court, they slow it up. slow it up. And it's so easy to get back on defense versus this team fully healthy. Joel Embiid and Paul George are so slow. Even it's like affecting Tyrese Maxey. He had a opportunity in the first half where he was pushing the pace. It was like a 1-on-2 situation, but it was really 1-on-1 if he accelerated to the rim. And he pulls it back and throws it to Ricky Council. I'm like, Tyrese Maxey last year has taken that to the hoop and is a guaranteed bucket. Tyrese Maxey right now, oh my, he's a shell of himself. He was losing his dribble tonight. He was missing floaters. I can't even remember the last time he made a floater. But going back to like the game plan of the first half, offensively, it was Joel Embiid or bust. And like, I understand that, but let's get him close to the rim and bully this small Pacers team, but he physically probably can't. So he's settling for jumpers and things like that. He's trying to post up. He's catching way far from the basket. He's catching deep into the shot clock. And the only time it resulted in good shot quality, like, don't get me wrong, he did create great shots. He had like 4 assists, but they were all in the beginning of the quarter when they got off to that quick start. But as the game went on, I don't know. It's just like second quarter comes around and Paul George gets his third shot, and it's like deep into the second quarter. And it was like an out of rhythm, fadeaway type of shot. I was like, that has no chance of going in. This dude doesn't have a rhythm. You expect him to make that shot? Jared McCain comes into the game. He has 7 straight points, or he had like 4 straight points. 7. He finished the game with 5 points. I don't know what I'm talking about, but he came in, had a nice start, and then he gets iced out the rest of the game. Like, I believe all his first half shots took place in the first quarter, and then he just kind of is watching Tyrese Maxey dribble. I just don't understand this offense. There's no team basketball. It's just iso ball. 18 assists tonight. 18 assists. They had 15 turnovers. Meanwhile, you go to the Pacers, 35 assists. 35 assists. And the reason they got back into the game is because the pace picked up for the Sixers. Paul George kind of got in a rhythm. I don't know. I just think with where Joel Embiid's body is at right now, this dude, he's not good. Like, he's not good. Like, the Bulls game was nice, but look at everything from Joel Embiid this season. The Sixers are 1-5 with him in the lineup, and I feel like 95% of the time he has been a negative. I don't care about like the net rating on and off shit that Embiid stands on Twitter that are going to bring up. I don't care. He was really good in the Bulls game. I'll give him that. I'm proud of him for that. But overall, I'm just going to be real. He looks washed to me. And it was hard to watch the Sixers in that first half because they were playing Embiid ball, and sometimes it was resulting in wide open threes. But also they were playing so slow. So slow. And you can't win that way. They're going to get outrun by the Celtics, Atlanta. I mean, have you seen Atlanta lately? They just beat the Knicks in the NBA in-season tournament. The Celtics, I mean, every team is just quicker. And I watch a lot of games because I have a main channel covering the NBA, the whole entire NBA. So I got to watch other teams. And going from watching other teams like the Rockets, I've been watching the Rockets a lot this year. I really like their team. They're fun to watch defensively, offensively, not good. But just like going from athletic teams like the Thunder, the Rockets, Atlanta, Celtics, and then watching what the Sixers put out there tonight, it's like I'm watching a different sport. And it's just, I feel bad because Joel Embiid, a lot of it, it's just his body. It's like physically he's done. And we extended him. So as fans, the Sixers are in a situation where the right answer is to blow it all up. But that's not even realistic because you extended Joel Embiid. If you didn't extend him, you could probably trade him this offseason and just start over, refresh, or whatever. But since he's on a 5-year contract, well, what team is going to take him? And then Paul George, he's been good this year. I'm not trying to hate on him so much, but again, he just passed his prime, and I'm watching, top wings in the league, and they're just he can't get by people quickly. It's just frustrating. And then on top of our two, highest paid players, Maxey looks terrible lately offensively. I think defensively and playmaking wise, he's been better over the last month. Not this game, obviously, but it's just really frustrating and kind of depressing because the answer is clearly just blow it up, but they're not going to do that because they really can't. Paul George, big contract. You can probably trade Paul George. I don't think that's going to be tough, but I just want to switch up the style. Joel Embiid is amazing when he plays like he did against the Bulls. But I'm done with it. I'm done with the slow, feed him the ball, everyone's standing and watching. And then you got to rely on role players who aren't in a rhythm to make three-pointers. The most inefficient shot in today's NBA is 3 points, the three-point shot. Especially for the Sixers because they're one of the worst three-point shooting teams in the league. And when you play Embiid ball, you're going to load up and you're going to force the Sixers to take threes where they suck at shooting threes. And that's what happened in the first half. In the first 2 minutes, the Sixers were making shots, getting backdoor cuts and things like that. But eventually the Pacers were like, I dare you to make threes. And Joel Embiid trusted his teammates, but because they're not really good shooters, eventually it died. And that's the thing with the Sixers. They had turnovers, but missed shots, long rebounds. They're basically turnovers for this Sixers team because Embiid can't get back. No one can get back on defense. And another problem is Yabusele has looked really bad next to Joel Embiid. Yabusele has been very good for the Sixers this year, but in his minutes next to Embiid, it just doesn't seem to work. So tonight he had 14 minutes because he started off the game, bad minutes from him. Nick Nurse goes to Andre Drummond for the backup minutes. Honestly, it's looking like Yabusele has to be in minutes without Joel Embiid to get the best out of him because so far this year, it just hasn't worked. Theoretically, it should work, but unfortunately, it doesn't. Shout out Kelly Oubre and Ricky Council. I mean, they were willing the Sixers back into the game in the third quarter. KJ Martin also. I thought he had a very good game. I think he should play. He should play 30 minutes a night. Straight up. He should play 30 minutes. Instead of the lineup being Tyrese Maxey, Kelly Oubre, Gershon, it should be Tyrese Maxey, Kelly Oubre, KJ Martin, Paul George, and Joel Embiid. When fully healthy, KJ Martin should take the place of Yabusele because Yabu just hasn't looked good next to Embiid so far. And KJ Martin, once again, has a positive plus-minus, and the eye test backs that up. 13 minutes and 23 minutes. He just makes it easier on the best players. It's that simple. He's good in the short roll. He's good in the short corner. He's good at screening or just ghost screening. He's just really good, and he should play starter minutes until the Sixers get better players because the stats back it up that the Sixers are better with him on the court. Not only that, the eye test as well. And it's sad because Jared McCain, bright spot, but him and Maxey, defensively, it's not going to work. I'm just going to rip the Band-Aid off right now. It's not going to work. For it to work, they have to be very good offensively. And going back to no identity, no plan offensively, when Maxey and Jared McCain are on the court, when do we ever see them working together? When do we ever see Paul George and Joel Embiid working together? Even when the Sixers beat the Bulls, it was all because of Maxey and Embiid's chemistry from the year prior. Paul George and Embiid, they don't work together. Tyrese Maxey, Paul George, they don't work together. All Paul George's buckets are him just self-creating. Tyrese Maxey, Jared McCain, they don't work together. Every now and again, they'll do like a drive and kick scenario, and then McCain will relocate. You'll see that every now and again, but there's no like plays drawn up to get them working in the two-man game or off screens and stuff like that. I just don't understand it. The offense is so bad. That's a huge problem. Like, the defense was bad tonight, but I believe if they start off that game and consistently they get a rhythm and a flow offensively, it's not just stagnant basketball, their defense probably ends up being better because you could tell this team relies on shot making, especially when Joel Embiid's in the lineup. Without Joel Embiid, they know they're not offensively gifted, so they play more intentively defensively. But with Joel Embiid out there, they kind of expect to be a solid offense or expect to generate good shots. So when the shots aren't falling, there's no movement. They're not even passing the rock. Like in the first quarter, they weren't even passing the rock. It was all iso ball and things like that. So when the offense is not working, it's going to affect them mentally, defensively. Where do we go from here? Let me know below.